My name is Ginny, also known as 2/3 Lotus, everywhere on the internet. This clip is part of my series, The Poets of Twitch, where I analyze my viewers' writing live on stream. Nothing has been edited out, so you're seeing this exactly as streamed with all of the imperfections and tangents that come with being live. If you want to catch me live or want more information, check out the description. Otherwise, enjoy some excellent writing.
Tin of Brains. And this, to be very clear, this is a first time ever on the Poets of Twitch Ginny analysis. This is a song, which is kind of cool. It's a song. Stream times are hard to keep track of with different time zones. Your Monday isn't my Monday. Oh, because you're so far in Singapore. That's crazy. It's literally the next day. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, no streams on very early Tuesdays for you. Here's Tin of Brains by Mantle Merchant, which is actually a song. Opening, whispered, chanted quietly. Tin of brains, tin of brains, tin of brains, tin of brains. Guitar riff. Verse 1. Deep in the cupboard, where the shadows crawl, sits a tin of brains, the strangest of all. Who put it there? What does it mean? A culinary nightmare? Or a gory dream? Tin of brains, crack it open, take a bite. Tin of brains, feasting on the endless night. Who's it for? Who's to blame? A tin of brains ain't your mama's game. Tab 1 for who's it for, no finger. Okay, that's like music notes, whatever. Labels peeled, but the smell remains. Is it lunch or food for the deranged? Pickled thoughts in a salty bath. Open the lid, unleash the wrath. Tin of brains, crack it open, take a bite. Tin of brains, feasting on the endless night. Who's it for? Who's to blame? A tin of brains ain't your mama's game. Slithering, simmering, it's crawling across the floor. Did you want a snack? Well, old friend, you're the main course. Outro. Tin of brains, tin of brains. Interesting. This is entirely virgin territory for me, analyzing a song on my poetry channel. Tim Philosophy, welcome in. You have a question for me? I may have an answer. And I'm Ginny. We do poetry here, but right now I'm analyzing lyrics from a song from Mantle Merchant, who is in chat. And that's what we do. I read things from chat. Okay. So, how many genders do I believe in? Oh, 2. 2. However, asterisk. These are not 2 genders that must be conformed to. And anyone can place themselves wherever they would like. In, around, or on the opposite side of the binary. 1 human and dancer. 1 human, 2 dancer. 1 boba, 2 kiki. Exactly. They have 4 genders. Male, female, non-binary, intergender. Fair enough. I'm sort of just saying this answer because it sounded kind of funny to say there's 2 genders because that's what people want you to say. And then you hit them with, but the binary is a lie. Basically, I think gender is a social construct, and the social construct the social construct sees binary gender But binary gender is not something that must be conformed to because no social constructs are things that anyone is required to conform to. I also do think maybe that if we're talking about like birth sex, there's kind of the third as in, well, there is the third as in intersex, where someone is born not necessarily one or the other, but got him. Two genders, and I'm still right. That's heat. That's heat. So this poem, it's like a funny, or not this poem, this song. It's kind of funny. So we have this like immediate impression of like zombies. I don't get to write cursive C's that much. So zombies. Tin of brains, tin of brains. So we have this literal like tin happening in the pantry. Kind of, I don't know how you draw this. Like peeled open, right? This is the tin. And there's brains inside, which is a fun little thing for a song, or a poem, I guess. A poem song. Maybe we should talk about this first, right? Poems and songs. This is an interesting discussion. Poem, verse, song. You know, are these different? Are these the same? So. Maybe we can look at definitions. This would be interesting. I don't know what's going to happen. So what is a poem? Piece of writing that partakes... God, what a dumb definition. A piece of writing that partakes of the nature of both speech and song. That is nearly always rhythmical, is metaphorical, usually metaphorical, and often exhibits such formal elements as meter, rhyme, and stanzaic structure. This is theoretically like what a poem is. And that is like basically, as far as I'm concerned, the same as defining song. Now this is a short... See, so literally... I guess there's no reason I shouldn't even be hesitant to have a song on my poetry channel, because the definition of song includes the word poem, and the definition of poem includes the word song. A poem is a song, and a song is a poem. Okay. Now, of course, this is just one definition, but we can roughly say that a song is equivalent to a poem. Yet, there are different things that happen in these two. Poems tend to have, like the definition said, a stanzaic... Oh, more Z's. A stanzaic structure. They are stanzaic. Songs tend to kind of have sections. But these are like pretty much the same thing. So in the song, we maybe have like the verse, the chorus, we have bridge, we have like in intros and outros, in, out. If we're talking about classical music, we maybe have movements, all sorts of different kinds of sections. Stanzaic structure, I mean, we do similar things. I mean, it's usually just stanzas going through. I don't know if we really have different ways to talk about stanzas, but mostly just there's multiple of them. Songs are rhythmic, or they become speaking over a beat. Well, maybe. Songs are probably rhythmic. I think if you get sort of I don't know, expressionist avant enough, you get to like deeply non-metered music and non-metered songs. Like, I don't think a song always requires meter. A song does not require harmony. We have, atonal songs, so pitch doesn't even matter. And poems can happen over a beat, and poems can be deeply rhythmic. I've written poems that intentionally actually follow like a continuous beat, and words are happening on beat. So these things are like roughly the same. We have sections and stanzas, but these are also kind of the same thing. They operate differently, mostly because the song has a chorus. And of course, the song doesn't always have a chorus, but if we're talking about popular music, any song, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, whatever, other pop songs, I don't know, Brat, Charlie XCX, I don't know if that's a song on the album. I know it's the name of the album. Not the point. Usually have choruses. The part we remember. Thinking about me every night, oh. Isn't that sweet? I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know. That's that me, espresso. That's the chorus. And there is a poetry to Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso. But it has this thing, like the chorus, that repeats. And, like, happens multiple times. And this can happen in poetry. I think you see it less, having like the exact same words. Like, so this poem, it has chorus. Tin of brains, tin of brains, crack it open, take a bite. Tin of brains, feasting on this last night. Who's it for? Who's to blame? Tin of brains in your mama's game. And then we do it again. Here it is again. And the thing is that in the song, this usually isn't like repetition in this way isn't particularly like additive. It's mostly because it helps the song stick in our mind. Songs are so much easier to listen to than poetry because oftentimes poetry happens like once straight down through the poem. You hear it a single time and then it's over. But the good thing about the song is you hear like, the introduction, and then you hear the verse, and then you hear the chorus, and then you hear another verse, but it's similar and expands on the first verse, and then you hear the chorus again, which is the same, and you hear the outro, which might resemble the intro and bring us like full circle, which is much more comprehensible in like one listen, let's say on the radio, than a poem. Which is why we probably don't play poems on the radio. If I had to guess. So this is like an interesting idea. Like, so if I was like critiquing this just like I critique a poem, it's sort of silly, right? To say that, oh, this repetition doesn't add anything because this is a song. So there are certain things that I have to change in my analysis of a song versus a poem. Midnight here. It's officially the anniversary on your anniversary on hormones. I got so much love from people around me and got inspired by openly trans people like you, Jenny. Keeping neat. Congratulations on your hormone anniversary stylish fail. That is so awesome. And I'm inspired by cool trans people around the world like yourself. It's this cool, very freaking queer community, and not always queer community. Non-queers, we love you too. That like makes this place so often awesome for me in some cases. And having y'all help shut down the annoying people who come in and ask about two genders. Like Hamilton, beat poetry, songs that use spoken word. Yeah, like, so rap is one of the most, is like, I would say the big like intersection of song and poetry, where Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite poets. I won't even say musicians. Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite poets. Because he is. Uh, even without the rap. Something I really would like to do, in the same way that we have our Bukowski analysis series, I would love to do the poetic analysis of Kendrick Lamar's discography. Uh, these kinds of things. Or Tupac, right? Because it's clear. Like, we know that music is poetry. So these are just some notes, I guess, to begin this. And talking about, yeah, like Stylish Valley, you say there's too much fuzziness in the concepts for real definition. And I super agree with that. It's kind of dumb to make these differences when it's all basically the same. Do you know why so many people hate rap music? Yeah, because black people make it. And I'm like saying that just straight up. Yep, started as black music. Because America is 50% reactionary conservative white, and people who vote for fascist demagogues, and those are the kind of people who will tell you not to listen to rap. Those are the same people that, tried to have heavy metal banned during the Satanic Panic. It's something to be reactionary against and racist. Yeah, people say it's degenerate. Yeah, and that is because of it, and they try to use justifications like it's too violent. Oh, I don't like that they swear and say the N-word, which makes my comfortable whiteness uncomfortable. But all of those reactions are rooted in a white racism, and that's just like pretty much a fact. There's not much arguing with that as for why people dislike rap. Never thought of that to be this affected. Yep. Yeah, America sucks. So, anyway, tin of brains. So, we're evoking an image, and I guess we can think about this as a symbol of some sort as well. But we kind of flesh out what this tin of brains is. Deep in the cupboard, where the shadows crawl, sits a tin of brains, the strangest of all. Who put it there? What does it mean? Culinary or gory dream. So, who put it there? What does it mean? Perhaps there's some sentiment of like absurdity here. What does it mean? Who put it there? But also, and then there's like strangest of all. But so here's one thing. That makes analyzing music hard for me is that music doesn't only rely on its lyrics. My best example for this is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And I'm going to show you all a lyrics of a song. Dripping Tap lyrics. I'm going to do it on Genius Lyrics. So we start with the chorus. The drip and tap won't be turned off by the suits in charge of the world, and our future's hanging on by a thread. This is like pretty like talking about like political stuff, gods above us, big sky country. And then we have like a few more stuff. Left the tap on swamp and out of the sink. This gets repeated like 5 times. And then there's this. This is 10 minutes of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's dripping tap. Maybe it's 8 minutes. And then an ad. And there's some more. And I just want to show this because, like, this is sometimes my struggle with poetry versus music. Because there is a difference in how they're normally presented. Poetry is presented strictly for the language. And, quote, music or songs tend to be presented as language alongside music. And it's very easy to make a distinction between language and music. These are entirely different, like, artistic mediums. It's just that language and music together is a song. And probably language and, like, some elements of music is poetry. Because there's, like, verse and rhyme and whatever. But, like, this is where I get hung up. Is that I know that there's more to this than the words. And it makes it deeply hard for me to analyze. And that's, like, probably my big struggle with analyzing a song, especially one like this. Tin of brains, crack it open. Tin of brains, like, how many times do we say tin of brains, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 times. And I can't really, more than 15 times, I can't really analyze tin of brains in 15 iterations as a poetic move, because it's not a poetic move, it's a musical move. And that makes my life very difficult. Because song is kind of about picking poetry out from all of that. I think Velfus is talking about rap music. And I'll talk about that comment in a second. There's an ad break coming up, and I'm going to run the ad. And I think the linguistic perspective is very important as well. Learning about this was very interesting. I'll be right back, though. Don't watch the ad. Do self-care. No ads. Don't be a commodity. Don't let someone own your time. You don't want that. Liberation is not watching advertisement. It's my, like, useless anarchist sentiment. If you don't watch ads, you'll be liberated from the fist of capitalism. Not true. Stretch. Okay. Ads aren't quite over, but I'm trying to figure out. Okay, yeah, so Velfus is talking about sociolinguistics. I like that. That's a fun discussion. And 2, 1. We're back. Welcome back. I'm still Ginny, the poet of Twitch. Velfus said, we can assume it's a racial issue, rap, but there's like the elitism part of it, the use of common language. Yeah. And then we get back to sociolinguistics. So there is like the sociolinguistic argument to this, which says basically kind of that we're opposed to unfamiliar language, that there's a right and wrong way to use words, like you say, velfus, and thus something that includes slang and stuff like this is considered lowbrow, and this is where like the elitism comes in. This is a really important thing, I think, in like college, where there's a sociolinguistic kind of expectation of proper language, proper writing, proper grammar, proper. And like we all know that proper academic language does not necessarily yield good art. It absolutely can, but that is not the only way. But the elitism, I think the sociolinguistic angle for me, Velfus, is more a way that people try to attack the rap music, and it is probably an underlying racism, and they use the sociolinguistic argument as a weapon of their racism. But it is sort of intertwined, and that's why it's sociolinguistic. So it's not to say that there's only like one problem or one thing that's a cause, but this is like absolutely a factor in why people don't like rap music as well. I think the most important factor, the most pressing one and the most real one, particularly in America, is that people try to people give hate, people stop people from listening to, censor basically rap music with an underlyingly racist motivation. That's my thought. Funk rock is typically a phrase repeated. Corn bugs is a good example. Yeah, and that's that's what King Gizzard does. So when you said you were sending me lyrics to a funk song, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'm too sleepy to keep listening to the education content of yours. I'll probably go to sleep. Thanks for, yeah, of course, Poet of the Dull. You are absolutely accepted here, and sleep well. See you soon. But the thing is, so I wonder, Mantle Merchant, the fact that you say funk is usually something just kind of repeated, because I know that this could absolutely be an 8-minute long banger of a funk song with a sick like bass groove and some crazy guitar stuff happening and whatever. I'm sure it could be. But I think to me, like funk music, more of the poetry is in that, or more of the art is in the musical side. This is why, some people will say, oh, this King Gizzard song, like close to the lyrics, is kind of bad. It says, drip, drip from the tap, don't slip, like 80 times in one poem. Stylish well. Exactly that. Is Tequila by the Champs something that we, as poets, as me, a poetic analyst, am interested in providing some analysis for? No. like there's a point where music and a song isn't poetic. And this is why going to rap is really important. Because rap leans a direction on this spectrum. So we have the spectrum. I like spectrums. So on one end, we have pure music. On one end, we have pure language. And then on this end, we're going to have things without any language. So this is going to be classical. This is going to be some jazz. This is going to be 433 by John Cage. No, it's not a song, but it's music. I think song, I usually refer to song as having words. These are probably pieces or pieces of music. So this is music, the pure music end. And then the pure language end is probably like prose, technical writing. I mean, like, there can sometimes be some like rhythm, but prose is meant to be pretty flat. There's this. And then we can start putting things somewhere along the spectrum. And in one case, like, I think, okay, so Shakespeare, let's say, would be maybe here. Shakespeare leans language, but is not just language, it's starting to get musical elements. Any kind of verse poetry. Far left is material safety data sheets. Welcome to On the Grass. Exactly. And then maybe further this way is going to be some like free verse with the like occasional rhyme, where it's language that just hints at a musicality. And then we have on this side King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Dripping Tap. We have Tequila. We have the jazz song Salt Peanuts, which the only words in this song are salt peanuts, and it's a jazz song that's emulating the sound of someone selling peanuts as a musical idea. So this becomes, music using the musicality of language, but not using the language for a linguistic purpose. I think what we're looking at here lies maybe a little left of this, probably. I think in the middle is our kind of like pure like pop, which has an equal balance of importance of the music and also the language. We think, Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso. I'm going to keep bringing this song up. I can recognize this song from the first 2 seconds. Of course the music is important. That opening sound and then that opening groove, it's that song. And then, but the parts we also really like, can sing along with, enjoy a lot, is the lyrics. So I'd put like a pop song dead center, which makes verse poetry interesting, like as close to pop as this is, in a sense. And I mean, these are variable distances in between. But today's poem almost goes into musicality too, and the performance is part 2, and the album art. Yeah. So the issue though is that, like, this is sort of me coming to a reason of why I kind of reject this analysis, unfortunately. I can go, I think so my channel is about language. My channel is about writing. I am a writer. And I think as soon as something tips past the middle point of this graph, where music becomes more important to the thing than the language itself. I struggle to analyze a piece like this as a entirely comprehensive piece of art because rap is right here. Rap is more language based than pop. Just had to put that on the graph. Because like how like I analyze poems, right, as pieces of art and things that reflect an artist and their vision and their creativity. And I find that I do any of this a disservice. If I tried to analyze the poetic value of tequila, as Stylish Fail jokingly put into chat, like it's a joke, but it's true. There's truth in jokes, that it's funny because it doesn't work, because it is so absurdly clear that I am missing something by trying to analyze tequila or salt peanuts by did Parker write that or did Dizzy Gillespie wrote that song. Really good jazz song. Like roughly that interval. Bum, 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 bum. And they play it really fast. Good song. But like it's missing the point. Analyzing a song based on only the lyrics is like analyzing a poem based on only the vowels. Yeah, in a sense. Maybe that's maybe a way to put it. Analyzing a song based on more like, yeah, it is fun. There's salt peanuts. Thank you. It's one of those songs that people just seem like they try to play as fast as they can, and it works. So like the issue here, I would say analyzing a song based on the lyrics is like analyzing a poem where you're analyzing every other line, which I guess, yeah, only the vowels is like every other letter. But I mean, there are things I can probably draw from this. I can draw images and like overanalyze the absurdity and the zombie and death and life and some sort of revel in death and like whatever. But like this is a silly funk song. About brains in a cabinet. Radio Dude, you have like the best one-liners. Radiohead would die without the song analysis, possibly, but like here's the thing. I mean, so something about Radiohead is we look at them probably. I mean, people like the music. There's like good musical ideas in Radiohead, and people really, really deeply love the lyrics as well. And I think that puts Radiohead in the same like pure pop, pure rock center line here. But I think any song that is in this central region pretty much dies without, if we stop thinking about like the lyrics and analyzing them. I mean, if we don't actually, I mean, we're always doing analysis on very small levels. I hear Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso, and there's a level of analysis to understand that she's talking about a guy that likes her, right? That's analysis, though. It's putting these pieces together to make an interpretation. You're a big fan of Radiohead, love their sound, but not the lyrics. Okay, I see. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm a creep. I don't even know the rest of the song. So like analysis, yes, happens. And people love to analyze Radiohead's lyrics and whatever. But I think like that, a statement like that speaks to the point of this graph. Where like, as we get something like rap that goes this way and puts more value into the language, it makes less and less sense to engage with things on this side of the graph without analysis. And I don't necessarily mean detailed analysis like I'm doing. It could just be, trying to interpret or quote, get it, right? We hear a song, a really good complex rap song with all these words, and we're like, oh, I want to get what it's saying. Hear a really complex poem. Oh, what does it mean? And so, in the same way, here's the opposite, my justification. As we go this way, it makes less and less sense to look at one of these songs without the music, to the point of that sort of singularity of, let me try to interpret 433 by John Cage without being at a performance. Let me try to interpret Beethoven's Seventh without hearing it. And even if it's just, let's interpret Beethoven based off the score, I mean, you might have a really good, like, people might be able to play that in their head, really amazing musicians, but, like, it's silly. And in the same way, that would be like trying to interpret prose based on, like, not reading it. It sounds absurd. So, like, maybe, yes, I'm okay with having songs and lyrics, but they should be more so songs than they maybe should be pieces. And that doesn't at all reflect the quality of whatever tin of brains actually sounds like, because I don't know. I cannot say whether this is a song that I like. I mean, like, in the very same way, what's a song that I haven't really listened to? Let me just take, so let me do this. Genius. I'm not looking at whacked out murals. That's just what pops up. But let's go to the Beatles, right? And let's take a random Beatles song that I don't know. I don't know this song. I've probably heard it. Something by the Beatles. And I can read this. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other. Something in the way she woos me. I don't want to leave her now. Blah, 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 blah. Lyrics. This is the song, right? Will I ever be able to know if I like this song? Will I ever be able to know what this song feels like? No. Not just off this. So yeah. And I guess, like, this song in terms of interpretation. Okay, something is actually a phenomenal choice. I don't even know, though, because I haven't heard it. The music makes that song hurt. Okay, exactly. Um, that the way that I accidentally illustrated my point so well. So yes, like, this song this song, the lyrics make sense. Like, but I think I don't need to analyze this for 2 hours on stream in the way I analyze this poem earlier, right? That gave us all this stuff to talk about. Because this language is not trying to do what this language is doing. Yes, zombies, tin of brains, there's a tin of brains. But like, yeah, a dirty undead funk groove is what's gonna make this song, for lack of a better word, have bite to it. So I don't know. Like, even though King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is a much bigger and more prolific band than your band, Mantle Merchant, there's no way in hell I'm going to analyze a lot of their stuff on the stream, for example, in the same way I might analyze Kendrick if I ended up going into doing some music analysis for fun, because their lyrics are nonsense a lot of the time. Sometimes they're not. But yeah, I don't know. And maybe this is like kind of maybe y'all are like, well, why don't you just analyze the song? Why don't you just say what it means? Because like I won't know what it means. And without the song I won't know what it means, yeah. But the lyrics go, tin of brains, tin of brains, tin of... Like, come on. How... Me saying tin of brains 4 times is in no way an approximation of what this song sounds like. Deep in the cupboard where the shadows crawl sits a tin of brains, the strangest of all. Who put it there? What does it mean? A coloring nightmare, a gory dream. Sure. Tin of brains, crack it open, take a bite. Tin of brains, feasting on the endless night. Who's to blame? A tin of brains in your mama's game. And like, they're probably good lyrics. I have no issue with these as song lyrics, but I've also never looked at a song before listening to it and been able to tell if it would be good just by reading the lyrics. You know, you could have given me... I'm saying this because like the most popular song in the last year, Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso. And I might have even said like, move it up, down, left, right, oh, switch it up like Nintendo. That's kind of a cringe line, just on paper. But it's great in the song. Of course it's great in the song by popular appeal, which also doesn't necessarily indicate quality, but... Anyway, labels peel, the smell remains. Is it lunch or food for the deranged? Pickled thoughts, salty bath, open the lid, unleash the wrath. Dinner brains, crack it open, take it bite. Dinner brains, feasting on the endless night. Who's it for? Who's to blame? Dinner brains ain't your mama's game. Slithering, simmering, crawling across the floor. Do you want a snack? Old friend, you're the main course. Tin of brains. Okay, but what if you say tin of brains 5 times? The idea that the tin of brains are encased in tin implies much. For example, that it is part of a large industry also connects weird tins of food with brains, which are essentially the seed of one's humanity, but are physically unattractive. There's a type of cheap, further lowering, the perhaps overpraised brain. Is it a critique of the bioindustry? Intellectualism? Both. I'm laughing. I mean, like, this very well could be the song, but I'm laughing just because, like, I haven't heard the song. It just seems silly to me to give a meaning like that. And, like, I know these are unreleased lyrics. Like, you haven't recorded this song. I know this, Mantle Merchant. And then, like, the other issue here, like, I'm happy to... That's the wrong one. Let's say, like, I'm happy to help people, like, write lyrics, since lyrics are poetry, right? But I can't help but point this one out here particularly. Like, I really like it when y'all ask me questions because it makes my life much easier as an analyst. Not an analyst, as a critic, as someone who wants to generally help a lot of you with your art. And so then y'all send me things, and it's just like whatever, a poem, a song, a wall of text, a short story. And you'll say, I don't have any questions. And it like, it doesn't give me a lot of a starting point, and it makes me like much less excited to read a poem or anything, because it's like, well, I don't have a lot of direction to help improve this thing or help with this thing. Um, Whereas like Marooned Again, the one we read earlier, it did have questions. I also really liked that analysis and was really happy with it and fulfilled with it. And they were asking like about the sound, uh, and all that, and the impression that it gave, which is like simple questions. It's like, what do you feel about the actual quality of the sound in this poem? And we had an amazing 2-hour conversation basically about sound.
Thank you for watching. I encourage you to check out the rest of the series, follow if you enjoyed, and stop by Twitch if you want to share your own work. See you there.